Love, it's your girl Farida, also known as Curly Proverbz. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. I so appreciate you being here and taking the time to watch this video. Today we are going to be focusing on hair porosity and looking at how mastering your hair porosity essentially means mastering your hair growth and optimizing your hair growth, because your hair is going to be having access to moisture, protein in a balance, and having all the conditions that are going to have it thriving and healthy and supple, and therefore you are going to see the most length retention. Now, from the very beginning of my hair journey, if you've been here for a minute, you know I was stuck at collarbone length for literally 2 decades of my life. Then I found Ayurveda and actually got a regimen together, and I found that my hair has thrived. We are now sitting at, butt length hair and still growing. So if you are interested in building a regimen based on your hair porosity, finding the ingredients that will work best for your hair porosity, then keep watching. So just a real quick overview of how this video is going to go so that you can go to the timestamp that is most relevant to what you need to find out. We are gonna first have a questionnaire. I'm gonna put some questions up on the screen. You're going to quickly answer them, find out what your porosity is. Once you found out what your porosity is, or if you already know what your porosity is, this video is going to be divided into 3 segments: high porosity, low porosity, and medium porosity hair. You can go to the segment that you need and find out what you need to do for your hair. Super excited to have partnered up with Belle Organic on this protein-focused hair education series. If you didn't know who Belle Organic are, they are a brand that is focused on producing organic, natural hair care products that help women return to natural and have their tresses thriving. So I should let you know this is going to be a mini series where we are going to be focusing on education. I know that people that come to my channel for the longest time have always loved the fact that I go into the science and educate about hair, and I am aiming to do that with this series. We're going to be looking at hair typing, we're going to be looking at porosity, we're going to be looking at protein sensitivity, protein overload. Is there any such thing? Is it a myth? So guys, make sure that you subscribe if that's of interest. Also, if you do find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up because it massively supports my channel, and it also helps me to know what you are interested in. If you're excited for this new series, then comment below. I want to hear all your questions on hair growth, porosity, protein, etc. So without further ado, let's get into your porosity. So if you answered mostly A's, then you're likely to have high porosity hair. B's, then you've got low porosity hair, and C is normal to medium porosity hair. Okay sis, so what is porosity? Porosity is essentially how fast moisture or water can actually get into your hair and how fast it gets back out, okay? So the structure of your hair is essentially on the outside. You've got these cuticles that are sheets laid down on top of each other. They look kind of like the shingles of a roof. If you have high porosity hair, then essentially those shingles are raised and moisture can get into your hair, no problem, but it can just as quickly go straight back out. If you have low porosity hair, essentially your hair has the cuticles really tightly laid down and is very difficult for moisture to actually get in through any gaps or openings in the cuticles because they are pretty much clamped shut. And if you have normal porosity hair, then moisture is able to get in. The shingles are able to keep some moisture in and locked in the hair, and essentially you're able to add moisture and retain moisture probably the most easily out of the entire trio. The first thing I would say is you do not need to use heat when you are using your deep conditioning treatment. In fact, it is best for you to avoid heat altogether. The position of your cuticles can make them more fragile and more prone to breakage. The other thing I would say is don't be afraid of using protein treatment. Protein treatments will help to give you that additional layer of protection over your cuticles so that you're able to retain moisture. Ingredients such as henna and cassia are fantastic for building up over the hair, especially over time. You start to see the benefits from the first application, but then they continue as time progresses to yield more and more results. So essentially you will get to the point where you're able to retain moisture in your hair. The other thing that you can do is that you can use butters in your hair. Butters actually will help to smooth down the cuticles and seal in the moisture that you have placed into your hair. Another ingredient I would highly recommend if you have high porosity hair is definitely rice or rice water. Now it works really well for all different hair porosities, but especially well if you have high porosity because it acts as a protein, it contains amino acids, it helps with the restoration and the building of the hair structure, which really does help to rebuild in areas of damage. So it works, in a sense, it does work like henna, but sometimes people can find it overwhelms their hair. Too much rice water can be a bit overwhelming for the hair. So I love that Belle Organic have actually released a brand new rice water mask or rice-based mask, and it contains bomb ingredients that actually balance it out. I'm just gonna go to the ingredients list. It contains rice flour, it contains yucca, which helps to reduce any inflammation, itching, dandruff, or anything that might be impeding the hair growth out of the scalp. It also contains rosemary, which thickens hair. It contains aloe vera, which moisturizes and conditions. It contains rosehip oil, and it contains glycerin, which hydrates, lavender, and it has basin in as well. It's rich in antioxidants and folic acid and minerals as well. So I highly recommend it. I have been loving using that in my hair. Quite a few people have commented on the accelerated growth of my hair. They've noticed a change in my hair, and I have to say that my hair has been loving rice water. So, and I've been using rice water in my hair probably for 1.5 years plus now, on and off, depending if I'm doing, like, I normally will use henna and then rice water. I was using them both together and it worked well for my hair actually, but just as far as on a practical basis of like making up henna and making up rice water, it just became a bit too labor intensive. I would also suggest, guys, that you might want to look into using products with ingredients such as apple cider vinegar and aloe vera, and maybe even just spraying your hair with aloe vera juice after you have done the whole routine. So you have washed, moisture has gone in as you did your moisturizing deep conditioner or your protein and moisture balanced deep conditioner, and then you have applied your butter, and then you've gone in and sprayed your hair down with aloe vera. Essentially that is going to really help to seal down your hair shaft. Or if you've just used a deep conditioning treatment and imparted moisture, I would strongly suggest that you rinse your hair with cold water because that is going to seal the cuticles down. Ingredients and products that would be good for you to go for if you have high porosity hair. Of course, henna. Guys, if you didn't know, Belle Organics still stock the henna that we collaborated on, and in fact the green tea as well, just in case you're curious. I do get questions about it a lot. As always, the reviews on the henna have been absolutely bomb, and what works about the henna is that it actually builds your hair over time. I love the fact that it is combined with other ingredients that are known to help to restore hair that is damaged and to restore balance to hair, particularly if it is high porosity. Ingredients such as marshmallow root and avocado, which are known for their restorative properties, but also it contains apple cider vinegar. It's all mixed up into a mask, and it continues to be a bestseller, so I would definitely recommend checking that out if you have especially a high porosity hair. The third thing I would recommend is looking into their onion and garlic oil. Now, I have been raving about the benefits of onion juice, onion oil on my channel for probably touching on 2 years now. When I had my postpartum shedding, it really did help. I've actually gotten 2 bottles of the oil that I'm going to be giving a try and coming at you guys at a later date with my results. The reviews on this have been amazing, and the reason it works really well for all hair types, don't get me wrong, it works for all porosities, but it's particularly beneficial if you have high porosity hair because it is rich in sulfur. Sulfur is needed for the sulfur to sulfur disulfide bonds in the keratin. In other words, your hair fibers need that sulfur, and if you have high porosity hair and it's caused by damage to the hair structure, which is one of the 2 main causes of high porosity hair, then it really will help to use onion and garlic oil. So low porosity hair, that's me. Sisters, if this is you, we are in the same boat together. It can be frustrating trying to get moisture into your hair in the first place. So let me share some tips that have really helped me along the way. The first thing is that every single time I deep condition, particularly in the first 3 years of my hair journey when I really was like desperate for that length, like, can I just say this hair length and just this hair look I thought was beyond me. I remember seeing this lady come visit my school, and she had hair that looked just like this. It was natural, it was curly, and it was thick, and I was just like, my hair will never look like this. But come to find out, all I needed was a routine, and especially to employ heat when I was doing my deep condition. I was religious, like literally so strict about using heat every time I deep condition, especially in the early days of my journey. I would do it twice a week. I would deep condition twice a week. And using heat essentially lifted up the cuticles of my hair, allowing that moisture to penetrate. So if you need to use a hot towel, if you need to use like a foil, some foil under your plastic hat, if you have a heating cap, even better. Definitely employ heat and steam as much as you can when you're deep conditioning. You will see a massive difference in your moisture and therefore your length retention. So on a Wednesday, I did my protein treatment. So that was either using egg or I would use henna. And then on the Saturday, I would use my moisturizing deep conditioners with my oils and my honey. And I was very, very strict about it. And the results just speak for themselves. I mean, I saw phenomenal success. Listen, people look at me and say, oh, my hair will never look like that. I used to be you. Like, I used to be that person. And in fact, I had people in my family who I love dearly say to me, you will never have waist length hair. It's just not in your genetics. But here we are. Okay, now if you have low porosity hair, my advice to you would be stay away from products with silicones. There are some water-soluble silicones, granted, and so they pose less of a problem. But generally speaking, like, you will find And I know there are exceptions. I know there are exceptions. There will be people that are low porosity hair and they'll say, no, this product has silicones, but all the other ingredients make up for it. It works really, really well. But if you are going to be that person that is going to use silicones, make sure you are clarifying. If you can avoid them altogether, that is best, because they will build up on your strand over time as an additional layer that actually prevents moisture coming in. So not only your cuticles down, you've then got a coat of silicones and moisture is not getting into your hair. Yeah, your hair might look shiny, but it's gonna feel brittle and it's gonna feel dry. So if you have low porosity hair, don't be afraid of using oils and butters. Try to go for lighter oils such as grapeseed oil, or you can even use olive oil. I love avocado oil. They work really, really well for my hair. And I'd also recommend looking at a butter that maybe has aloe or argan oil added to it. I particularly love the argan oil butter by Belle Organic. I've used up 2 tubs of the stuff. It is amazing. I don't need a definer or anything like that once I have applied this to my hair. It gives my hair amazing shine and leaves my hair so hydrated. Like, I am in love with this butter. And to be honest, I've used loads of butters over my time as a natural, and I have found that some of them are not great for shine, and some of them, even if they help to retain moisture, they actually elongate my curls and they change my curl pattern. So I don't know what kind of magic they did on this particular butter, but it works so well. I would also recommend the fenugreek mask that they carry. It has the right balance of moisture and protein, and it works so well for my hair and gives my hair amazing shine. The reviews again have been awesome because the ingredients are completely unadulterated. Include aloe vera, marshmallow root, which my hair adore, which works amazingly well for my pH balance with my cuticles and giving my hair some slip. It also contains grapeseed oil, again one of those light oils that is ideal for if you have low porosity hair. It contains neem oil, it contains fenugreek, of course, which is rich in very powerful hair growth stimulating micronutrients and minerals, and gives that protein hit to balance out the moisture and is just perfect for my hair. So if you have got medium porosity hair, then basically you've got the best of both worlds. You can get the moisture into the hair and you can retain it without too much trouble. So, I mean, that is really quite lucky. The same sorts of products that would work for low porosity hair would tend to work well for medium porosity hair as well. And to be honest, you can chop and change from the different categories as your hair dictates what works well. But I would say that good practice is definitely to make sure that you are using heat when you are trying to get the moisture into your hair, and to utilize things like butters, Ayurvedic herbs, etc. It's also really important to try and alternate between using moisturizing and strengthening or restorative treatments, or what you could do is you could use treatments which balance both the strength and the moisture. So I would recommend the Restorative Hibiscus mask. I really love the fact that it's got the moisture and it's got the protein balanced out. To be honest, a lot of the products that they carry do have that balance in, and you will find ingredients that work for different porosities. So it's not to say that one product only works for people with high porosity hair, but there are some that would just be kind of like cha-ching, you know? The Hibiscus mask actually contains coconut milk, which is fantastic for penetrating really deeply into the strands. The structure and the size of the ingredients in coconut milk really are able to penetrate into the hair to give maximum moisture, and it also contains some protein in the coconut milk as well. You have coconut oil, which prevents protein loss from the hair. So particularly if your hair is wet and you know, it has been, you know, you've been going through a long wash day or you've been out swimming, coconut oil is really, really good to prevent something called hydro fatigue, which leads to protein loss from the hair and misshapen hair that is oversaturated as well. And then you've got the hibiscus, which moisturizes and seals down the cuticle and allows you to retain that moisture in your hair. And marshmallow root, which is fantastic for bringing slip to the hair and conditioning in its own right as well. Super nourishing and high in micronutrients and loads of good stuff, particularly minerals as well. The last thing I want to touch on is what order should you be hydrating and then adding your oil and adding your creams to your hair. So there are two main methods. One is called the Loc Method, which is basically the L stands for the liquid, O stands for oil, and C stands for cream, and that could be a leave-in conditioner, for example. So the Loc Method actually seems to work on the whole better for people who have higher porosity hair. So if you're finding it difficult to actually retain moisture, keep moisture in your hair, then try using your liquid and then going in with the oil. This allows the oil to penetrate more deeply into the hair, and then try applying your cream at the end just to seal everything in. So that could work well for you. If you have low porosity hair such as myself, what has worked well for me has been to use my liquid, to use my cream or my leave-in conditioner, and then finally to use my oil or my butter to seal in the moisture. So that is a different order of doing things, and it could make all the difference in you being able to retain moisture, particularly in the winter or really harsh summer months as the year goes on. Super excited to have worked with Belle Organic on this video. I will have all the products that I have mentioned linked below. If you have found this video to be helpful, or you've picked up any tips, tricks or techniques that you are keen to try out, then let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit me up with a thumbs up if it was helpful, because it really does support my channel massively and it allows more eyes to see my content. So yeah, share with somebody who needs this, and until next time, take care of yourselves, okay?
Oh hey, are you following me over on my Instagram yet? If not, why not? Click on the link below to head over to the Instagram so we can keep this conversation popping. Remember, this is part of a series, so if you are interested in more of these videos looking at hair typing and protein overload, etc., make sure you are subscribed so that you can see those when they come up. In the meantime, why not check out my previous video on my top 5 natural Black owned businesses, featuring some of my favorite brands.